Hello and welcome everybody to the Qualifier Weekend. That's right. This is another qualifier. I believe it feeds into Arena Championship 8, which I am currently already qualified for, but the format for the Arena Championship will be Explorer, which is the format for today's tournament. And so I did a little bit of testing at home over the last couple of days, just to get a good sense for what the format's like. And this is the deck that I submitted. Now, obviously I'm going to have a testing team and put in the work, but for the time being, I just wanted to get familiar with the format. And of course, with limited time, I wanted to play the most proactive strategy that's available. And today, we are going to be trying our hands on Gruul Aggro. And the funny thing with Gruul Aggro is that it's eerily similar to standard Gruul Aggro. That's how good the standard Gruul Aggro deck is. But anyways, this is the deck that we're playing. Now, this list was largely, this list I basically got from somebody who's been doing very, very well in Magic Online. The account name, I believe, was Batutinia. They play, I think they grind a lot of Magic Online. So anyways, I took their list and made a couple of tweaks to it, but largely, it is very, very similar to what you see in Standard. So let's quickly go over the deck here. Starting out at our 1-mana creatures, we have 4 copies of Heartfire Hero. Don't leave home without this. 4 copies of Monastery Swiftspear and 2 copies of Soulscar Mage. Now, there's a lot of good 1-mana creatures that you could play in Explorer or Pioneer. They're basically the same format. Higher Claw is another option. And then also there's Paw Patch Recruit that you see in Standard. And then, of course, there's also Kumano faces Akazan or something like that. The Kumano card. So this is how much I play this format. But I wanted to play all 1-mana creatures because we have Innkeeper's Talent. Additionally, I'm playing 6 copies of Prowess creatures because these creatures combo really, really well with Reckless Rage, which is a really great removal spell. 1 mana, instant, deal 4 damage to target creature you don't control, and 2 damage to target creature you control. So it's an instant speed 4 damage spell that works really nicely with these Prowess creatures. Going into our 2-mana slots, we have 4 copies of Emberheart Challenger and Manifold Mouse. In conjunction with the Heartfire Hero, that's that mouse combination that's been proven to be very, very dominant in Standard. And it looks like it also has a home in Pioneer. So we all know how that works. Really, really good combo. Turn 1 Heartfire Hero into turn 2 Manifold Mouse is quite strong. Couple of copies of Questing Druid, which I threw in, which is just a nice way to grind people out in the late game. Just gives you a little bit more stuff to do with your mana. And then at our 3-mana slot, we have 4 copies of Screaming Nemesis, which is just a really, really great creature. Just 3 mana, 3/3 haste, and just a really good way to close out games. Going into our spells here, we have 4 copies of Burst Lightning, very, very similar to Standard, along with 4 copies of Monstrous Rage, very, very similar to Standard, and then 3 copies of Innkeeper's Talent. The big change here is the 3 copies of the Reckless Rage over, whatever other removal spell you would put into this slot, Witchstalker's Frenzy, etc. And then at lands, you also get a huge improvement here. You have basically 4 creature lands here, 2 copies of Den of the Bugbear, along with 2 copies of Mutavault, which really, really help when your opponents play sweepers. And this is something that the Standard version doesn't get to play as well. Shaper Sanctuary is no Mutavault. And the nice thing about the Mutavault is, of course, it also acts as a mouse. So sometimes you can actually use that to your advantage if you have something like a Manifold Mouse. Also just a really nice cheap way to put counters on with Innkeeper's Talent. But then outside of that, we have 2 basic lands because there are, various effects that make you go search for basics. Your opponents can kill your land or kill your creature and make you get a basic, and that's what this card here is for. We have 1 copy of Sokinzan, which just is an extra way to make tokens, and then we have our suite of various red-green lands. So that's the main deck. It's basically a standard Gruul Aggro deck, but it's been doing the best for me. I actually considered playing Rakdos midrange because I played Golgari midrange in Standard to get me to qualified for the Arena Championship, but I just couldn't win with the deck. Maybe my sequencing was off, but I just couldn't find a way to do well with that deck. So I swapped over to the Gruul Aggro deck and was doing a lot better. Going into our sideboard here, 2 copies of Red Cap Melee. I expect a lot of red-based aggro decks, Gruul Aggro and Rakdos Aggro specifically. So we're going to be playing 2 copies of Red Cap Melee, which is really, really good in the mirror, of course. 2 copies of Torch the Tower, just good against all small creature decks as well. 1 copy of Pyroclasm. This is a card that Especially against, there's another Gruul Aggro deck that basically plays Burning Tree Emissaries and looks to basically put out a bunch of creatures early. And Pyroclasm is like an extra removal spell that if your opponents don't play around it, you can kind of blow them out, especially against that matchup. Then we have 3 copies of Paw Patch Formation, just a really nice way to kill enchantments and kill flyers. The Rakdos mid-range deck, for example, plays a bunch of demons. So this lets you kill all their flyers. You can kill Fable the Mirror Breaker if you need. And then additionally, there's a 5-color Enigmatic Incarnation deck, which plays a ton of enchantments and overlords. And Paw Patch Formation is excellent there. I like 3 copies of Paw Patch Formation over Pick Your Poison, because when I played against the Enigmatic Incarnation deck, they played 4 copies of Nowhere to Run. And it felt really awkward. Having Pick Your Poison in my hand and not being able to actually cast it because they had nowhere to run and play. Then we have 1 copy of Rending Volley as an extra removal spell against white and blue decks. 1 copy of Scorching Shot as a way to just kill any random creature. I have Scorching Shotted my Screaming Nemesis to deal 5 damage to my opponent. That was sweet. 1 copy of Grafdigger's Cage against various graveyard-based strategies. You know, Mardu Greasefang, or also just the Enigmatic Incarnation deck, for example. 2 more copies of Questing Druid for additional value against more grindier matchups. I do like this over a lot of decks play Urabrask's Forge. I have been really unimpressed by that card, so I'm just playing the 4 copies of Questing Druid instead. 1 copy of Destructive Revelry just to get people. The Enigmatic Incarnation deck is getting pretty popular, so I think having 1 extra disenchant effect that can randomly deal 2 damage to your opponents is nice. And then 1 copy of Hazaret the Fervent. I'm not really sure about this with the 4 copies of Questing Druid, but it's been pretty good for me so far, so I wanted to try that out as another resilient win condition out of the sideboard. But there you have it. Explore Gruul Aggro. Let's see how we do. I just want to get a lot of experience with this format and hopefully win some gems because I was automatically qualified for this weekend. Alrighty. Opponent on the play. We are on the draw with a ton of 1-mana plays and an Emberheart Challenger. We're playing against a Yorion deck. I think I'm going to keep this on the draw. I just have a lot of 1-mana plays. Even if I miss on land for a turn, this hand still seems pretty solid. They went Darkslick Shores. All right, let's lead with the Heartfire Hero in case they have a Fatal Push. This still makes them take damage. I can play the Haste Creature next turn. Oh, okay. Nowhere to Run. Nice. This is actually a 80-card Dimir Bounce deck. That's what this is. All right, I think I'd rather just lead with a bunch of 1-mana plays. The other option here is to just run out the Emberheart Challenger, but why don't we just make sure we try to get some damage in here first? Get a couple of Prowess creatures in play. This Reckless Rage is going to be very nice with these creatures. But they actually have a super low curve. I thought I was going to play against a bit of a clunky deck here, and that's not going to be the case here. They actually curve out very, very nicely. Another Nowhere to Run from the opponent here. And yeah, this is actually quite interesting in terms of what I should be looking to do. All right, I am actually going to just attack, I think. Actually, do I want to go Emberheart Challenger? The problem is I don't get in for the same amount of damage, but it puts more creatures in play, so I guess I'll play it. Attack with everything. I mean, this still gets in for 3 damage. And, I mean, they're probably going to fire off this Nowhere to Run main phase, but let's say they just pass, then I can technically blow them out with the Monstrous Rage. It's in their best interest to just use all their removal right away. And it looks like, yeah, I mean, this is tough. They have so much cheap, efficient removal here that it makes it kind of difficult to fight through. Looks like they have a tap land, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, no, just to... All right, they use that to tap for blue. And... do I want Reckless Rage or Burst Lightning? I think I want to use Reckless Rage here. Then let's target the Swift Spear. And then just attack. I want to save the Burst Lightning just because it can go to the face. And then I'll play Heartfire Hero as another card. You know, and we're at least trying here with 2 mana here. We have a Manifold Mouse, which is a really nice follow-up here on the Heartfire Hero. And then we still have access to Monstrous Rage and Burst Lightning if they decide to tap out in some way. But this deck doesn't play a bunch of big creatures. It's trying to eke out little advantages with cards like Nowhere to Run and other effects. They do have This Town Ain't Big Enough, which could be quite nice against what we have right now. All right, I'm just going to play the Manifold Mouse here and see if it works. They have 5 mana, so obviously they have lots of ways to be able to interact with what I'm trying to do. But hey, we get to target Heartfire Hero, which is great. This town ain't big enough, sure. Let's attack. They're going to take the 1. Then we'll play the hero. And they're going to use Nowhere to Run. That's fine. Probably kill the Manifold Mouse. You know, we're still trying to get our damage in, but this deck... So many cheap spells. So many cheap spells. Oh, get out. Okay. If they have a land here, it's pretty bad for me. Okay. That's fine. Nowhere to Run's so good against Heartfire Hero, too. Oh, Innkeeper's Talent was amazing. And then, hold on, this is going to be a 2-3. I'm actually going to Monstrous Rage now just to get in for maximum damage. The reason being is this can't die to Nowhere to Run. So if they have a different removal spell, that's fine. But this is my last creature anyways. And this is a 3-4, so it doesn't die to this Nowhere to Run. And if I get an extra hit in with a Monastery Swiftspear, that's 1 extra point of damage that I basically got to get in. So them playing Omen of the Sea can be a decent sign here for us. Hopefully they don't have a bounce spell or another removal effect. Bottom is also a good sign. We have a Burst Lightning here as well. So we'll see how this goes. And they found Go for the Throat. So that's very sad. And hopefully we can find another creature. We have a couple of Burst Lightnings. That's basically it. Let us level up the Innkeeper's Talent. No reason not to. And now they are at 6 and we have a couple of burn spells. And you know, that is kind of our secondary plan here. And I am going to go 2 to the face here. And we have a Mutavault, which is actually quite nice here. Oh, but they have a Nowhere to Run, so it's really awkward. They have a Nowhere to Run, so it's, yeah, so it's really, really awkward. So basically what I want to do here is just level this up. Because they can just kill my Mutavault. And Nowhere to Run prevents the Ward or Hexproof clause. So I just want to be mindful of that as well. So we just need a land here. Oh, that is really interesting too. Do we go for that? Here's the thing. They didn't play Yorion. You know, I'm actually not gonna activate the Mutavault. I'm not gonna activate the Mutavault. They probably have a This Town Ain't Big Enough or something, yeah. Which doesn't work on the Mutavault, but I just feel like they probably would have played the Yorion if they didn't have anything else to do. So I wanted to try to play around that, if possible. And if I lose my Mutavault, I don't get to Burst Lightning and kill my opponent. Storm Chaser's Talent is the play from them. I just need a land. I don't think their deck plays any counter spells. Yeah, I don't think they do. So now they played the Yorion. Oh my gosh, it's so good in their deck. Well, they have 1 mana up. I guess they could have Fatal Push still. So it's still a concern. So I'm basically just playing to draw an untapped land here. Untapped land here would be amazing. They have way too many creatures in play. Now, here's the question. Basically, if I don't draw a land, do I still go for it here with the Monstrous Rage? Let's see. I would make a 2-2. No, I wouldn't have enough. All right, land! Screaming Nemesis also works. Oh, Screaming Nemesis super works. Yeah, that is incredible. For 1 mana, they can't really do that much. I'm looking at a deck list here. I think I just go for Monstrous Rage here. For 1 mana, I can't think of something that they can have here. Yeah. Fatal Push. You can't Fatal Push. This gives it Trample. So you can't Fatal Push the Screaming Nemesis. So this should be lethal. It's all about how much mana your opponent has up and you finding the best ways to deal with what they have. And in this instance, the only thing I can think of is Fatal Push. And that doesn't work against the Nemesis. So this was a really good draw. They did have the Fatal Push. Yes. All right. So this is going to be kind of a grindy matchup. So in matchups like this, I'm very interested in the Questing Druid. The Hazoret also seems quite nice. Although I guess they can bounce it. But you can't use removal on it too effectively. So I do like that. The removal certainly gets worse. Like Reckless Rage is not something I'm super interested in. I'm taking a look at just the types of creatures that they have. There is Chromehost Seed Shark, which could technically come in this matchup. So that's something to consider. I don't think I love Paw Patch Formation in this matchup. It's just a lot of their enchantments already give them value. I don't mind the Monstrous Rage still because it's still pretty good against some of the removal that they can have. And also, I've just liked keeping that in this matchup in general. Don't really care about Scorching Shot too much. There's a Rending Volley, which could theoretically be okay. Oh, the deck does play Shieldred. I just kind of want to keep all my creatures, though. Let's just try it like this with the Burst Lightnings and still keep my spell count pretty high and just board out some Reckless Rages for a couple more Questing Druids and a Hazoret and see how this goes. I can totally understand if the correct thing to do here is to board out some Monstrous Rages because they have a lot of removal and a lot of bounce effects. So that's certainly something that could have been correct. All right, we have turn 1 Swift Spear here into turn 2 Innkeeper's Talent. And like I said, the nice thing here is generally they don't play a whole lot of counter spells. So unlike when you play against control decks, you're like, oh, do I need to, can I play out this Innkeeper's Talent? In most instances here, it's fine. It's fine to do so. Hopeless Nightmare, okay. It's actually really interesting what I should discard. I think it's just Burst Lightning. I feel like if their game plan is to race me with an Otter, we should be okay. Famous last words. But Manifold Mouse is the exact type of card that's pretty good in this matchup, just because if I get to 4 mana, then I have 2 permanents that they need to deal with, which I really like. Okay, well, they're doing the thing. They are doing the thing, certainly. All right, what do I want to do? I can just play 2 creatures, which I like, I think. So I can go Swift Spear, then play Emberheart Challenger, then put a counter on the Swift Spear to distribute the power and toughness. I mean, you know, it could be close. This could be a really close race because their curve is super low. So I guess I should probably be a little bit careful, but at this, yeah. Because the Hopeless Nightmares also deal a bunch of damage. They need to play 3 more spells? Okay. Oh, wow, that's just lethal. That's crazy! Oh my gosh, alright, GG's. Alright, well, you know what? I'm glad I kept the Burst Lightnings in. Wow, what a beating that was. Does that change anything with what I want to do? I don't think so. Like I said, I mean, maybe this is just all too cute, like all of this stuff. And maybe I still keep some ways to deal with some silly little otters. All right, why don't we try the Revelry? Just because it's still a burn spell, right? It still deals damage to them, and it kills something. Whereas Paw Patch Formation, I think I'm less of a fan of. Let's go with a Rending Volley, and then let's go with triple Monstrous Rage. Still keep some of them in. And for all you aggro players, am I supposed to just board out all the Monstrous Rages? Let me know. All right. Bunch of 1 mana plays and a 2 mana play. Gonna keep this here. We do have turn 1 Hardfire Hero into Manifold Mouse. So pretty interested in being able to pull that off if I can. Our opponent mulligan, yes! Fist Pump. Yeah, I mean, this monster... What would it be, though? So if I didn't play Monstrous Rage, it'd be like Hazaret and... I don't know. Some burn spell, maybe? If they make me discard a card, what do I discard? Probably Sokinzan. Alright, let's go Manifold Mouse. Hit them for 4. Double strike. So the night, I mean, even if they kill this, like, I got my value, right? I hit them for 4 with this, and they need to play Nowhere to Run, which presumably they're going to play here. Drown in the Lock. Oh, this makes them take damage. So this is actually really interesting. I can deal a ton of damage to them this turn. Let's see. If Manifold Mouse becomes a 4-power double striker, that's 8, 9, 10, 13 damage. Yeah, let's do that. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, deal with 2 creatures. There you go. They're at 1 life. They need to kill 2 things. That was the most amount of damage I could get in. They need to have 2 removal spells here, basically. I guess there's no real difference between 1 and 2 life. Maybe I should have kept the Burst Lightning in hand, but there you go. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. You're the mono red deck, and shields down moment for our opponent, and that mouse start, right? 1-drop mouse into 2-drop mouse. You kind of have to kill the Ember Heart, the 1-drop. But then if you tap out to kill the 1-drop because you want to play around, I don't know, Monstrous Rage or whatever, then you can get in some big trouble. 1-0. Give me those gems. And that is the nice thing with the mono red deck. Sometimes you get some free wins. It's the nature of the deck. Sometimes you get free losses, though. You just so it's not always great. Turn 1 Hardfire Hero into Innkeeper's Talent, and then if we draw a 3rd land, we can play Screaming Nemesis, so certainly keeping this. Being on the play is obviously great, but definitely still hopeful, right? I still need to make sure that I do draw land number 3 here to make sure that this hand looks good. Also, this deck is probably the last deck that people would expect me to play. I will say. Like, if you play against me in the dark, I think you would assume that I'm on just Rakdos mid-range, or possibly some kind of control deck. That's kind of what I've played historically. Alrighty. Turn 1 Hardfire Hero. Black Cleave Cliffs. Fatal Push, okay. So playing as Rakdos midrange, most likely. And we drew another Screaming Nemesis. So this is the thing, this is what I was talking about. Like, I'm going to go turn 2 Innkeeper's Talent. I have 3 Screaming Nemesis and a Monstrous Rage in hand. If I don't play anything, it's a free loss. If I draw a land, here's the thing. I can draw a land or any cheap creature and it'll be okay. Oh no, they're playing Rakdos. Rakdos Prowess. I need a land badly. Oh my gosh. Copperline Gorge, thank you! Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. Now I'm just hoping that they don't have some kind of combo kill next turn because I don't have any removal. So if they go Infuriate, I don't know, Infuriate, Monstrous Rage, you know, etc., they can get me. All right. So they have that. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 11 damage right now. This is kind of annoying. So I think I actually need to play this one and keep it back. Do I want Monstrous Rage or do I want to give this Ward? I'll just pass. Basically, they can play a bunch of pump spells and kill me. So what I want to do is be able to put my Nemesis on the Challenger and at least try to play defense, right? Because I can block, and then if this takes a bunch of damage, then I can redirect the damage to my opponent's face. And this is effectively a 5/5. They have 3 cards in hand. We'll see what happens. Hardfire Hero is the play from them. Kumano faces Kakazan. Okay. 1 card left. Okay. I think now I can just go for it, right? Like, if I play another Screaming Nemesis, that's 12 damage, and I have a Monstrous Rage. So 4, 8, 11, 12 plus 3 is 15 damage. And even if they just chump with this, I can trample through. Yeah, okay. And they can't Fatal Push me. Like, their best hope is to chump with Hardfire Hero. Boom! Alright. Well, now we sideboard. Now we sideboard in all of these cards. Not the Rending Volley, but Double Torch to Tower. You know, Red Cap Melee certainly comes in. Scorching Shot comes in. I'm not sure about these effects, though, I will say. Or something like a Hazaret. It does block pretty well, but the question is, like, or Pyroclasm. And then, what do I take out? Right? It's like, the cards here on the right are the ones that look less good. Yeah, I think I kind of just want to play the role of a more controlling role, so I think I'll cut the Monstrous Rage here. Also, they're going to have a bunch of removal as well after sideboard. You know, they're going to bring in 2 more copies of Fatal Push along with whatever else removal that they might think is good in this matchup. Are all my creatures good? I do like all of my creatures here. And Innkeeper's Talent on the draw might not be very good. And I'm not too sold on Pyroclasm either. There's like a 1-of that a lot of people play, but I'm just not, like, they have a bunch of pump spells in their deck too. So I'm not sure. But on the draw, I'll try the 1, and we'll see how this goes. There's also Questing Druid, but like, I don't know how many of those I want as well. I think it's seemingly very, very good in this matchup. But because I'm on the draw, you know, you sideboard slightly differently, right? Wow, this is a really interesting hand just because this hand has no removal. Like, can I afford to keep this hand? Turn 2 Challenger, turn 3 Screaming Nemesis, and a Questing Druid? I don't know. Alright, I'll try it. Alright, Kumano faces Kakazan is the play from the opponent. I have a ton of removal in my deck. And Screaming Nemesis is quite a good card in the matchup, so I'm just going to have to play this defensively. But the idea here is, you know, I can go Emberheart Challenger into Screaming Nemesis. Of course, they play turn 2 Emberheart Challenger as well. And there is our Pyroclasm. I guess we'll just attack here. So the reason why I'm attacking here is I'm trying to incentivize my opponent to overextend here so that I can Pyroclasm and kill everything else. If they go Screaming Nemesis, it's pretty bad. If they go Removal Spell, sure. And then they have a Manifold oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage. If they go Land Manifold Mouse, it's a lot of damage. Hopefully they don't have a land and they just play a 1-drop. Nope, they have Land Manifold Mouse. Alright, so I'm taking 10 damage here. Yikes. Alright, well, I think Pyroclasm is our only decent option here, but I think we're just dead. Yeah, you know what? I probably should have mulliganed. It's like, if you don't have a 1-drop, you probably just need to ship it back. It's really tough. Although, they might not have a removal spell. Okay. Or burn spell. Oh no, they have the Calicel Sword. Sure. Reckless Rage. Alright. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think I'm a big fan of the It's just, my only thing is I am not sure between these cards and even the Monstrous Rage, like, what is actually good or bad? Like, what do I want to keep and what do I want to take out? Like, obviously, I keep all of the interaction. I feel like I want to keep all of the interaction and all of my 1-drops. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 removal spells, 14 removal spells even. So I want to keep all of that. It still might just be those cards, right? Wait, this is an interaction. Scorching Shot or Hazaret? Or Questing Druid? Alright, let's just try this. I think the cards you get from the Questing Druid is better. Also, the Questing Druid is better when your deck is all removal instead of pump spells, so let's try something like this. Alright, we're gonna mulligan that. It's all lands, no good. I will keep this hand. I have to mulligan though, so I gotta figure out what I'm bottoming. It's probably the Mutavault. It's 3 lands, Burst Lightning, Monastery Swiftspear, Reckless Rage, and Questing Druid. So I think the play here is turn 1 Monastery Swiftspear into turn 2 Keep Up Removal, and then if they don't play anything that I kill, then I go end step Questing Druid to try to hit lands. I mean, alternatively, I can just put Karplusan Forest and not worry about the Mutavault, but I think I care about being able to double spell a little bit more. Like being able to go Burst Lightning plus Reckless Rage, or if I draw another 1-mana play next turn, I want to be able to play that and keep up a removal spell. Alright, Kumano faces Kakazan as the play for the opponent. And ooh, that's interesting. We found Emberheart Challenger. Think that kind of changes my line. Now I just want to play the Challenger and attack and be the aggressor, because they're really incentivized to play a creature next turn with Kumano faces Kakazan, right? And if they play a removal spell, well, they're not killing something. The only thing that's really good for them is if they go Heartfire Hero into a removal spell. Like, if they go Reckless Rage here, it's obviously insane. Then we can just call them a giant luck sack. You are a giant bag of luck, sir. And there's our crappy Hazaret. Alright, let's just kill that Heartfire Hero before anything crazy happens. Keep up Burst Lightning. Didn't find a land there, which is unfortunate. And then if they go like Screaming Nemesis, is also not great. Yeah, God, that was brutal. I mean, they have 8 1-drop creatures, but 1-drop plus removal there is really, really rough. Because my plan was to go Reckless Rage on my Emberheart Challenger there. Alright, so now we're dealing with the Screaming Nemesis, and yeah, things are looking rough. Definitely. Land would be ideal. We did find a land. The question now becomes, do I play this Questing Druid now, or do I just wait? Waiting is probably correct. Then we'll pass. Screaming Nemesis is a giant pain, just because I don't have... Like, in Gruul, there's no good way to actually kill this thing. Yeah, maybe I should have just kept... Maybe I shouldn't have played a creature. Maybe I should have just kept up my removal, because they're gonna play a creature here. I don't know. But it was gonna be tough regardless, because they had removal spell plus 1-drop. Ouch. We're at 7 life. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, we hit land and red cap melee. Oh, God. Oh, man. That is not ideal. I take 4 damage. Do I want to do this? I mean, this is going to deal 3 damage every time no matter what, right? Okay. Oh no. Did they have Infuriate? Oh, no, no, it's Reckless Rage. I see. Okay. And then I take 2? Oh no, they kill my Druid. Oh, that's... Sure. Okay. But I take 4. Yeah, okay. Okay, they're at 9. And these 2 are coming in. Any haste creature kills me. Alright. GG's. I will say, my sideboard card is not looking so hot. The Hazoret plus Questing Druid combo might not have been super well thought out. It's probably one or the other. It's probably one or the other. And it's... I'm not entirely sure which one's even better. I mean, Questing Druid has been super, super strong in Standard. And presumably it's okay here as well. So maybe the Hazoret is just not the answer. But, yeah. I mean, the mistake there could also just been me playing my creature. Maybe I should have just kept up removal. Alright, opponent on the play here. Good hand, though, for us. We have a couple of 1-drops with Innkeeper's Talent. And our opponent mulliganing to 5, seemingly. We'll go turn 1. Okay. See? It's the same thing. And you know what it is? It's these arena opens... These are qualifier weekends, just big. It's going to be very, very different than whatever you expect out of a typical tournament. Because half the field in these events are limited players, like myself. And if you didn't have time to prepare, what do you play? An aggro red deck. Remember how many red decks I played against the other day? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I played against 7 or 8 red decks in the last qualifier event, and it's just happening again. I'm on the draw and I'm just dead. It's what it feels like. Next turn, I will probably play a defensive Screaming Nemesis. That's the plan. I could have played Innkeeper's Talent, but I don't know, just playing extra creatures seemed a little bit better here. Oh my gosh, Manifold Mouse, that's gross. Claim the Fame, okay. Wow, they're gonna get me on the double mulligan. It's crazy. Oh, I should have attacked here first. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, little things like that is obviously very, very bad for, very bad mistake on my part. Although, you know, honestly, it's not even terrible to consider keeping this back to block Manifold Mouse, given that I'm at 8 life. Now, if they have like a Monstrous Rage, I'm probably just dead. Kumano faces Kakazan. Yeah, I mean, I have to block the Challenger here. Trample, Haste, Prowess, okay. Yep. I think they have a Reckless Rage, but I don't think that works. Oh, it does work. It does work. Yeah, it does work. Because that tramples. Yeah. Alright. Okay, well, that was an absolute beating. I will say, that Kumano card seems awesome. And I'm a little bit sad that I don't have it. Like, the whole idea was these green cards were supposed to help me in the more grindy matchups. But it's possible that the all-in version is slightly favored in this matchup. All right, we are on the play this time around. I suppose the other plan would be to just, on the play, do the Hazoret plan and ignore the Questing Druid and just try to do my best to curve out and kill them. I can see that being reasonable. Play 1 Questing Druid, maybe. Oh, sorry, not Questing Druid. Hazoret. And then on the draw, take this out and then play a slightly more controlling role or something. All right, let's try this. All right. We got what? We got a 1-drop into Innkeeper's Talent. And we have a Torch to Tower. Swift Spear, sure. Another Innkeeper's Talent, okay. Beatdowns. The question for next turn is whether or not I should run out Manifold Mouse or Innkeeper's Talent, number 2. Heartfire Hero, okay, sure. And they have Reckless Rage, okay, sure. Alright, that was a good turn for them. Nice little double spell turn. So we certainly want to play our own creature here. And I kind of want to use Torch to Tower. Can I wait? Like, do I care about taking a bunch of damage from the Swift Spear? Maybe it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I don't know that they're supposed to keep all their pump spells after sideboard. And when I keep 1 mana up, they have to respect the fact that I probably do have a 1 mana spell. And that'll make them play accordingly as well. They need to have a second Infuriate. Okay, that's fine. Alright. I mean, that was really great for us, right? We got a 2-for-1 there. We need a creature, and we found a creature. That was perfect. So we found a land, and now we get 2 creatures, which is great. Alright, we get to target some things, and what do we want to put a counter on? Let's put it on the Manifold Mouse. Or rather, this one here, because this can technically block the Swift Spear. Emberheart Challenger, but they played a land. What can that mean? I mean, we could just take it. Monstrous Rage, probably, is what they have. I don't think they have a removal spell. So then next turn I can go 3-4 damage here? 8 damage? Right. They're going to Monstrous Rage, or just Monstrous Rage, so. Alright, Infuriate. I guess if they hit another 1 mana spell here, I die. Wow, they did hit hit a 1 mana creature. That's pretty unfortunate. Okay, so what do I do? So this can chump. We can use this for green. And I can actually tick this up twice. They're going to block with the Heartfire Hero. I give this Trample, I guess. And it would get 4 counters. Wait, whenever put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters. So this would be really, really big. And then if not, this can still block the Challenger and I take the 2. If they block with the Heartfire Hero, I go to 4 and this can still block there. Alright, so let's level this up twice because we have lots of mana. And let's just go all in on this Manifold Mouse. Double strike. Oh, we can do both, of course. And technically we're not dead. If they draw a pump spell, we die. And if they draw a removal spell, we die. But this at least gives us the best shot of being able to kill our opponent here. And they're just trying to... They're on a top deck mode. But like any spell kills us. A creature does not. A haste an Emberheart Challenger does not kill us. But I just feel like it's maybe a little too conservative to keep both of these back. Because a pump spell still kills my Manifold Mouse. Actually, a pump spell still just kills me, I think. Given that they're tanking, I think they don't have it here. Or this is just the biggest slow roll ever. Oh, this could be a claim to fame. They looked at their graveyard. Alright, let's play all of our magic cards. So we have Monastery Swiftspear. Innkeeper's Talent. I mean, we're just going to go all in on this Manifold Mouse, I think. If they had a Fatal Push, I was dead already. All right, we got one. We got one. Now, noting that they did keep Infuriate. They did keep Infuriate in. What else can I bring in to just not die? It's like Pyroclast. The problem is they have like Kumano Faces Kakuzan, Monastery Swift Spear. There's just a lot of things that don't die. But it's still something when I'm on the draw. And it's probably better than Hazaret. Just because I don't know that Monstrous Rage is necessarily the answer. How much do I like Innkeeper's Talent on the draw? I think I just want to be able to find more cards. So, like, maybe Questing Druid. Sure, Pyroclasm. We'll try that. We'll try 3. 4 might be a little excessive, but let's try to play as controlling of a role as possible with the sideboard cards that we have here and see what happens. Hey, this hand has a lot of removal. I like that. This is the kind of hand I was hoping for, right? Where you have Burst Lightning, Red Cap Melee, and Torch to Tower, and then you have Questing Druids to kind of gas up. So Kumano Faces Kakuzan. I am not going to go Swift Spear here. I want to minimize the damage that I take here, and I want to just keep up a removal spell, I think. Because they like almost have to play a creature here, I think. Alright, so we got to melee that one. And then we have Copperline Gorge and Burst Lightning. I'm just going to go Swift Spear and attack. So they have a 2/2 here. They do have pump spells though, so I don't want to just fire this off right away. I probably just have to take the damage here and see what they do. Alright. 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Go Mutavault, Screaming Nemesis. Keep the Nemesis back. Sure, Swift Spear. Yep. Hey, I mean, this is why we play the Screaming Nemesis, right? This is as defensively as we could have possibly played it. We're still getting completely wrecked, by the way. But look, I mean, it's all we had. Okay, it's all we had. So this is okay. So this becomes a 2/2. They have no cards in hand, so that is the nice thing. So I think I want to go Swift Spear and pass. And see what they do. It just makes it really, really hard for them to attack me. And if they draw a creature, at least we know that they have the creature, right? Okay, that's good. No creature for them. Now we can go Manifold Mouse with Offspring. Oh, the nice thing about this is I can bargain the Torch to Tower too. But I'm at 6 life, so this is so awkward when you're on the back foot. But basically, I'm in no real good position to attack here. Although, noting that the Manifold Mice are not as good when I don't have Innkeeper's Talent, but they probably have their own Manifold Mouse here. Claim the Fame, maybe? No? What can you have? Oh, this is the block. Triple block. Okay. That is a trade I'm pretty happy with. It's a manifold mouse, okay? All right, that is a Den of the Bugbear. Gosh. I could just never attack. Oh, I know. I can attack with Mutavault. I can give it double strike. Hey, at least that lets me get some damage through, you know? Like, they're going to take this. And then we still have mana up for Torch the Tower plus Swift Spear. And given that they're out of action, they might be kind of forced to go for it. And then if that's the case, then we can possibly blow them out here. Like, if they go all in on Manifold Mouse, I can also just theoretically double block it. But obviously things are super dicey just because of, you know, like, their deck, the Rakdos deck is terrifying to play against, right? They have so many different combat tricks that they can have. All right, they're at 12. We at least did some damage to them. Double strike and double strike, okay? All right, I think I just have to fire this off. Yeah, just to see how what they have. All right. The question is whether or not I should block this. Okay. We are talking. Let's go Den of the Bugbear here. I don't want to die to Monstrous Rage. So let's try this. Or like a removal spell for some free chip damage. Alright, Monastery Swift Spear is a draw for them. Which they could have played last turn, so that was their top deck. I still don't know what they have in their hand, though. It could be Infuriate still. If they attack me, then it's like a giveaway. Okay, they did not attack me. And we drew Sokinzan, okay. Oh, man. They're at 7 life. Okay, so let's see. I think if they had a removal spell, they would have attacked, right? So I can activate Den of the Bugbear and Mutavault and attack with those. Maybe I Sokinzan. Like end of turn or something. No, Den of the Bugbear seems quite good here. Trying to play a little offense and defense at the same time. Because I don't have a lethal attack. They could technically take all of this. Did I need to attack? Well, no, they can eat a token as well. Okay, so if this is their line, I need to play the Sokinzan. Yeah, I need to. Because I need to have that extra blocker, because they're playing to their outs. And so I want to give myself an extra blocker here. I wasn't sure how they were going to block, so I didn't just all straight up attack with the Mutavault. Now, given that they're at 2, and I have all these blockers, now my plan is to just block whatever is necessary, and then I can still attack. So they're going to probably be making some big attack here to try to kill me, and then I have to be smart about how I block, so I don't lose. Monstrous Rage on Monastery Swift Spear would be plus 4 damage. It would turn it into a 5-power creature, so that wouldn't be enough to kill me. Monstrous Rage on the Manifold Mouse could kill me if they give it double strike and then trample, so that's 8 damage. Okay, nothing. Alright, yeah, we're just going for it now. Yeah, is this even better, actually? Screaming Nemesis plus Mutavault? Like, if they kill this, yeah, there's just almost no way. This guarantees a point of damage. Whereas Den of the Bugbear can be killed. And then I have... or I can go Den of the Bugbear plus Mutavault. Yeah, I mean, that's also... Like, if they kill Den of the Bugbear, it's still fine, right? Now, if there's some crazy Rakdos Fog I don't know about... Oh, man, that was crazy, though. That was like, we were on the defensive. That was a really odd game, right? Like, basically, I couldn't attack for the first 6 or 7 turns of the game because I was on the draw, and we just had to keep chumping our way and finding ways to just put together the right blocks and hope that our opponent runs out of gas, and that's exactly what happened. All right, we are 2-1. That's about the record that I would expect. Maybe 2-2. All right, we are on the play. We have 1-drop, 2-drop, Burst Lightning, Monstrous Rage, and 3 lands. Obviously keeping. Den of the Bugbear, certainly the land that you always want to lead with. Copperline Gorge, at least it comes into play untapped if it's your 3rd land. All right, Yorion deck. What kind of Yorion deck are you? There's a bunch of them. Rafine's Tower. I'm still not sure what it is. Again, like, I'm not sure. Am I supposed to play Monastery Swiftspear and forego a point of damage? I'm not sure. I am not sure. Hallowed Fountain. Okay. That's a Manifold Mouse. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna play around a sweeper here. So I think I just play the Swiftspear and play Manifold Mouse and then just try to get in for maximum damage. Like, obviously, I don't get to get the value off of this card. All right, well, they killed it anyway, so it's not a big deal. All right, well, we're still dealing damage to them. We have 3 creatures in play. They had Fatal Push. I wonder if they're like, yeah, they're Esper Pixie. Or temporary Lockdown? Okay. They knew there would be a lot of doofuses like me just playing nonsense aggro decks. And obviously... turn 2 Fatal Push into a temporary lockdown is basically just going to lock up the game for them. Okay. Well, given that I know that they have that, I'm certainly going to be bringing in the Destructive Revelry and probably Paw Patch Formation. What the heck? Okay. Okay, they're playing... Okay. There was a Dimir deck that recently did well in a challenge, but they're playing an Esper variant. Temporary Lockdown with Hopeless Nightmare and Storm Chaser's talent is very interesting. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are the draws where, like, you play against a control deck and then they just... It's like they have it all. Then there's not much you can do. They had Nowhere to Run, Fatal Push, and the Lockdown there. And so we are just in all kinds of trouble here. They're at 14 life, just nowhere close to killing them. That Lockdown was savage. Yeah, okay. This game is lost. All right, Nurturing Pick. Yeah, okay. They've got a brew. They definitely have a brew. Do I want this for the Pixie? I don't know. I don't even know if I want it. I like the Innkeeper's Talent and the Questing Druids as ways to try to grind them out. And then it's just... So these are kind of the cards that I think I like. And then we just got to figure out what the rest of the configuration should be. It's like, do I want Hazoret as just a tough-to-kill creature that they need to just bounce over and over again? Or do I just want some number of burn spells here to finish them out? Do I need Monstrous Rage? With a bunch of bounce and stuff, it might not be so good. Might be Hazoret and just 4 Burst Lightnings just because this goes to the face. All right. Oh my gosh, this is so awkward. I can't play turn 2 Innkeeper's Talent because Crack Crown Pathway prevents me to do so. I have to keep still. It's just a really awkward hand. Like, I still have turn 1 Swift Spear, turn 2 Emberheart Challenger, and then hopefully the Questing Druid can find us some lands, but I would love it if I just drew a green source off the top. Pretty please? Woo, pretty please. That was ideal. That was ideal. Nowhere to run. Yep. Expected. Expected. Let's play Emberheart Challenger. Give it a counter. Let's see if we hit a free land here. Nope, we hit a Questing Druid, which we can't use. Let's attack. With nowhere to run and play, activating this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But am I burst lightninging anything? I guess I'll just level it up, because I don't think I'm going to burst lightning anything. Oh, no, 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 that was bad. Because they can have another nowhere to run. Okay. Whew. Hopeless Nightmare, sure. Okay. That is very interesting. Let's discard Mutavault. Paw Patch Formation, okay. Okay. All right, they're at 8. And we will pass. I mean, very likely that they can kill this. But we still have Questing Druid as the backup plan here. I mean, the nice thing about leveling it up, though, is that we don't have... later, we can spend 4 mana. And, we've already put the mana investment in there. Presumably, they have some way to deal with this. Thundertrap Trainer, rather, from them. Hopeless Nightmare, okay. Let's just discard the formation. Given that they didn't play Temporary Lockdown or anything. Alright, let's go seek the beast, see if we can find some goodies. 2 lands is not super ideal. So let's go Questing Druid. Let us kill the trainer. Attack for 6. And then get the Swift Spear down. So now it's like, it's kind of rough for them to actually play Hopeless Nightmare. So I'm hoping that the Ramunap Ruins in my hand just finishes off my opponent. They have to deal with 3 creatures here and Ramunap Ruins. And then, of course, they play Beza. Okay. I mean, that happened. They are at 6 life. So the Emberheart Challenger will get chumped by a token. The question is whether or not I just level up my Innkeeper's Talent. Because if I do, and put counters on the Questing Druid, it'll get very, very large. I think I just play Screaming Nemesis. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so now I'm going to deal 3 damage to them, and then just play Ramunap Ruins. Because I don't want them to make me discard. So now they can't gain life. Because the Screaming Nemesis clause is in effect. So it's gonna... I don't even see how they can actually win here. They really did not want to lose to red, by the way. There's Beza in here as well. Jeez. I can't even kill it with my removal spells. It's got 5 toughness. I guess there's Scorching Shot? Doesn't seem ideal. There's also Monstrous Rage, which can help. Alright, let's just bring in the 1 Scorching Shot. We have the 1 out. Okay? We have the 1 out. But our game plan largely remains the same. Play some creatures, play an Innkeeper's Talent, and then kind of put them on the back foot. Alright, well, we are mulliganing this all spell hand, and we are going to keep this hand. Heartfire Hero, Questing Druid, and Screaming Nemesis is in our hand. The question is, what do I put on the bottom? Probably Stomping Ground. I think the Copperline Gorge and the Mountain gives me all the colors I need. Not that I think it's going to be super relevant. I'm going to lead with Heartfire Hero, just because if I draw a Manifold Mouse, it's a really good 1-2 punch, even though I don't have it in my hand. We drew the Manifold Mouse, which is obviously great. And we're just going to play it out. And now it's like, do they kill the Manifold Mouse or do they kill the Heartfire Hero? But that was a good 2-mana play here for us. Next turn we can go any direction. We have Swift Spear plus Seek the Beast on Questing Druid, or I can just run out of Screaming Nemesis. A lot of it will obviously just depend on what my opponent plays. If they pass, then I like Swift Spear plus Questing Druid. Fatal Push on the mouse, sure. Storm Chaser's Talent, sure. No play there. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, no land, rather. It's very good for us. Can they do something for 1 mana other than Fatal Push? I mean, this seems like a pretty good time to play Screaming Nemesis, so let's just attack. If they have Fatal Push, they'll block with the token. Wow! Free wins, right? Free wins! I'll take it. I'll take it. That is not ideal for my opponent. They had a deck that was really, really well set up for this particular matchup. They kept a 2-lander and did not get there. Okay, we have 3 wins. We are somehow clawing our way through and winning some gems in the process. And learning about the format too, because it's really important. I don't even know when this tournament's going to be, but I do need to just be aware of the decks and the strategies so that once I actually test and come up with a good deck, I'll know what's up. Alrighty. Round number 5? Okay, we're on the play. And I have a 1-drop and a 2-drop and a 3-drop with 2 lands. We'll keep. Got the Swift Spear turn 1. Plains? I am already confused. And honestly, that's more my inexperience with the format than anything, okay? It's not anything to do with my opponent. Basic play. Okay, blue-white. Wait, no. What is this? Hold on. What is happening? I need an adult. Hello? Hold on. I gotta read cards now. I've never played against this deck. Fabrication Foundry. Tap to add white for artifacts. 2 and a white. Exile 1 or more of the artifacts you control with total mana value X. Return target artifact. Okay. I'm glad I put the 1 Destructive Revelry into my deck. And is that all it does? Okay, so it's a mana rock. It's a mana rock for artifacts. Thousand Moon Smithy. What do you do? Oh, you put a 4/4 into play. Yeah, that's pretty good, I want to say. That is pretty good. Does it do anything else? At the beginning of your first main phase, you may tap 5 untap artifacts. If you do... Okay, I see. This is also a really nice combo, by the way. Reckless Rage with Screaming Nemesis. Now we get to go 2 to our opponent's face. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So they're not dead yet, right? So my thought process here is if I draw a land, I can kill them with Burst Lightning. So I don't want to fire this off because I can fire Burst Lightning off, get my opponent down to 1, but I don't know if that makes a big difference. So for that reason, I'm keeping the Burst Lightning in hand because this still gives me a potential lethal attack. Okay, Simulation Age. What is this? Metalwork Colossus. That's a 10-10. Another Metalwork Colossus. That is another 10-10. All right, I guess a land. Land for the win. There we go. Awesome. Super awesome. Looks like this guy can play some mono red after all. I don't know what the hell this was, but anyways, let's. Whew, okay, turning red here. All right, let's put the Revelry in. All right, I'm gonna actually look up this deck. Let's be responsible here. Okay, the deck didn't pop up. Okay, so there is that. Portable hole. I feel like most of my configuration is fine. They did have that thing that makes large creatures, so maybe I want a Scorching Shot as well to have another way to kill the big creature. And is this a Questing Druid matchup? The thing is, I feel like a card like Monstrous Rage is pretty good here. I know I won with the Burst Lightning, but it might not be at its best here. I think the Monstrous Rage is probably better. So let's play this game here. And Reckless Rage, I think, does a better job of killing the big... Well, you know what? Maybe I don't want that either. All right, we'll do something like that. They just didn't have a ton of creatures. All right, we drew the one Revelry. Whoa. Moonsnare Prototype, okay. Let's go Swift Spear. What does it do? Tap an untapped artifact for mana generation. I feel like I'm not supposed to kill that one. Ingenious, uh-oh. Thousand Moon Smithy, what, okay. Hold on. Maybe I should kill this? Or I can just kill the 4/4, actually. Yeah, I mean, given that we drew the Innkeeper's Talent, I like the idea of just continuing to put counters on my Swift Spear. But obviously a nice ideal start for the opponent. Simulacrum Synthesizer. Okay, I have to kill that one. That one, I know I have to kill. This card is amazing in this deck. Or else they just get a million tokens. Mutavault is quite a bad draw here, but let's go Swift Spear into Destructive Revelry. Spread the love. All right, our opponent's at 6. Our opponent's at 6, and next turn we can go Screaming Nemesis plus Monstrous Rage. They might just need to play Thousand Moon Smithy, and that probably just kills them? Yeah. If I just put it on Screaming Nemesis, I think they're dead on board. Does this have lifelink? Any life I'm missing? Alright. Okay. Didn't expect to play against this deck, but the one Destructive Revelry, I'm sure, was very, very key there. Very, very strong for us. Because they had the Ingenious thing, I don't know. I mean, at least I brought in some of my big thing removal, but I guess maybe I should have kept in my Reckless Rages just to have more ways to kill, like, a potential 4/4 artifact creature. So that... If I play that matchup again, that's probably what I should do over the Burst Lightnings. That was quick. I got a quick one. Sometimes you get a freebie. I mean, we just drew really well. All right, on the draw this time, we are sitting at, what, 4-1? Pretty good. Our opponent is playing a Yorion deck, and I have 1-drops and an Innkeeper's Talent. I'm keeping. Copperline Gorge. All good stuff. Still really happy about how we played that first game, though, with the burn spells and just determining what we needed to do there, because our opponent would have stabilized. If I just went burn, burst lightning, that would have put them down to 1, and then I would have had a creature and a Mutavault, and they would have stabilized. I would have been really upset with myself if I lost that way. Rafine's... Oh, they're playing the Esper thing. Okay. Being on the draw against that Esper deck is definitely not a great feeling. Oh, no. It's not. It's got Stomping Ground in it. Oh, it's the Niv Mizzet deck. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. For some reason, Siri thought I was talking to her. No, Siri. Okay. So we're going to play some creatures here. Go for the Innkeeper's Talent next turn. Pillage the Bog. They're certainly looking for a land here. Although, I wonder, should I have gone green on this just so I can tick up the Innkeeper's Talent? It's usually not super relevant, but it can actually be important here. And it's just not even something that I paused to consider. And it could hurt me here. But we'll see. Okay, it didn't matter because I go... I mean, this is not a hand that plays around a sweeper. We just play everything. If we draw a land, another untapped land, we cancel Kinzan. They only have 1 Deafening Clarion in the deck, I think. Hostage Taker? Whoa. It is a multicolored card. Yeah, it plays. Wow. Well, that was unexpected. All right, let's play Manifold Mouse and hope for the best. They're on 5 mana now, so they can do a lot. Oh, but it is a tap land, which is good for us. And Hostage Taker was presumably their best 4 mana play. Heartfire Hero is just fine. They probably have a removal spell here. And we drew Monastery, Swift Spear. So how do I want to do this? Well, we can certainly tick this up. Lightning Helix. That gains them life. You know? It's unfortunate. Leyline Binding too? Wow, okay. I did not expect a triple spell turn. A triple spell turn is going to make things exceedingly difficult. I imagine my enchantment's going to die. Alright, I mean, this is the best that we got. All of our creatures live. They're at 8 life. I need to top deck a spell. But they have 2 cards in hand. Probably one of them's a Niv Mizzet. Or Bring to Light. And so we're probably going to be in trouble. It could not be. It can certainly not be. Oh, Deadly Cover-Up. Okay, that's a really good draw, too. So do need to be mindful of sweepers. That Helix... I mean, that Leyline Binding was pretty savage. Alright. No cards! I need haste creatures. Any creature off the top. Yeah, I mean, at least sideboarding isn't too hard here. I just board out all my removal spells. Just all creatures. Ooh, there you go. That's a haste creature. Look, that's like a shock that they have to kill. Uh-oh. This is a Bring to Light. Alright, we're probably dead. No, they need to tap the Flood Farm Verge for blue. Okay, blue, white, green. Yeah. Could also be like an Omnath or something. Like get an Omnath and then play a land. That's really good. Alright. Bring to Light. Here's a question. Do you bring in Grafdigger's Cage for this matchup? It counters exactly Bring to Light. That's basically it. Oh, Niv Mizzet Supreme. Okay. Each instant sorcery card in your graveyard that's exactly 2 colors has Jumpstart. So they just get to Helix me indefinitely? Alright. I want to see them do it. I haven't played against this card yet, so... Like, it's pretty straightforward, but I still just want to see it. So Reckless Rage and Burst Lightnings are probably the cards that I want to cut. And then I want to bring in Questing Druids, Hazoret, Destructive Revelry. Paw Patch Formation probably as well. Because this is, you know, they have the other Niv Mizzet, and I can use that as a way to kill it. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, sure. I guess that's a good one, the Burst Lightning. Alright, okay. I don't think we're going to win this game. They still have a Bring the Light that they can cast. Okay, so let's get those and those out of there. Bring in the more grindy cards. There's a Scorching Shot, which I can use to kill Yorion. The problem is, this Scorching... But the Scorching Shot doesn't kill the Niv Mizzet that gets them a bunch of cards, because I believe that's a 6/6. So I think something like this is reasonable. And for me, it's just, you know, I think it's like, which one of these cards do I want to not play? I think on the play, I don't think I need the Cage. It just counters the 4 cards, right? I think this is maybe for Greasefang. Let's just do something like this. This is the best kind of proactive version that we can play with the most number of threats. And I'm hoping that this is good enough. I mean, our hand there was fine. They had a good hand as well. No 1-drop, but I have Manifold Mouse, Screaming Nemesis, Monstrous Rage. I think that would be quite an aggressive mulligan if I chose to mulligan that hand. Our opponent going to 5. Which is definitely good for, especially with the hand that we have. I think I'm just going to lead with Crag Crown Pathway on red. The Carp gets us the green. Okay. And I'm just going to lead with a creature here. Questing Druid is nice, but don't need it right now. Get the Nemesis going, give this double strike. They can certainly have Lightning Helix. Ah, I was hoping for at least Lightning Helix. The reason why Lightning Helix would have been better is because then I can target them and they can't gain any more future life. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, sure. I can't really kill them very easily right now. How do I want to do this? Just an army of little annoying double strikers. That's what we're going for here. The issue here is that Fable token is kind of annoying because it does ramp them into something big. But we are playing our hand. This is our hand. That's all we got. Okay. I can hit them for 2, or I can try to find some action off of this Questing Druid. I think I want to find action off of this Questing Druid. Found... okay. Copperline Gorge is interesting because... Well, because I really want to play the Soulscar Mage, but I want to play the Druid as well. So I feel like it's better to just play Sokinzan and get two things in play to put pressure, especially with the Monstrous Rages. So why don't we play this? Yeah. That way we get the counters on the Questing Druid as well. And I mean, they're still at 16 here. This is off of a double mulligan too. I guess we did get 2 for 1. They played Niv Mizzet. Sure. So they get to play what? Oh, Vanishing Verse out of their graveyard. So then I want to Monstrous Rage the Soulscar Mage, maybe? Actually, I think I just Monstrous Rage both and just go for maximum damage. Alright, they're at 5. Hexproof for monocolored. Makes it very hard to kill. Is this a Niv Mizzet Supreme deck and not actually the other Niv Mizzet, or are they just drawing this every game? I don't know. I think I boarded out Burst Lightning, which is kind of annoying because now I really need the burn spell. But they're trying to survive. We have them at an effective 3 life with this Ramunap Ruins. We do have Hazoret the Fervent, which would be a good draw off the top. Looks like they have a Bring to Light again. Man, this was a fantastic Mold of 5. It's probably why I don't win with these type of decks. I don't mulligan aggressively enough, rather. They're probably getting the other Niv Mizzet now, or maybe they want to just find some way to gain life. They could just get like a Lightning Helix, because you can cast it twice, potentially. No, they got the Niv Mizzet. Okay. What did they hit? Kambal. Just Kambal. Oh, Kambal and Pillage the Bog. Okay. That's an Ember Heart Challenger. They're at 5 life. What do you do whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell? Okay. Goodness, I'm so close to dead here. Oh, they can they can lifelink their team. Okay, whatever. I mean, we're mega dead. They can wipe out my board? They can wipe out my board and lifelink the team. Oh, it looks like they're not going to. Okay. I mean, they can still lifelink their team. They can kill my challenger and lifelink their team, and I basically die. I have no cards in hand. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, this type of matchup is always weird because, you know, they do technically have kind of a slower deck with a bunch of tap lands, but they build their deck accordingly where they have a lot of interaction. And it's the type of matchup where it's like every extra land I draw is terrible for me, or, you know, every little stumble for them is terrible for them. And it just, there's just this back and forth. And in this instance, they came out on top. So what are we standing at now? I think 4-2. So still not a bad record. Obviously, you know, we're pretty far away from making it in, but we've made 5,000 gems, right? That's another entry into the Dustmorn Win-A-Box event. So next win gets us 2,500 gems. So hopefully we can take it down. Or I just win 3 more in a row and I just get more content and win more gems in day 2. That's also fine for me. On the play, I'll keep. No 1-drop. But I do have Emberheart Challenger and Innkeeper's Talent. We're playing against the Yorion deck. All right. I think I'm just interested in maximizing the damage. Like, I could have considered playing Innkeeper's Talent, but... All right, let's go... Ooh. No, I'm going to just get the Innkeeper's Talent out here. Just start getting some value going. It still gets in for a lot of damage, too. If I hit a land, I get to play the land as well. And I don't need Burst Lightning, I don't think. So we're going to do the same thing we did previously, which is just tick this up, make it harder for them to kill the Emberheart Challenger. And all future creatures, right? So there's that as well. I mean, they're already down to 14, right? Instead of a 2-mana removal spell, they played a turn 2 up the Beanstalk, which is a huge, huge difference. By the way, they are playing the Overlord of the Flood Pits deck. There it is. All right, so we just want to kill them dead as quickly as possible. Let's see. Screaming Nemesis, Emberheart Challenger. The good thing is they can't Zur us out just yet. They need 5 mana. Ooh, Monastery Swiftspear as well. I think I want to just play all of that. It just gets in for the most damage. Heartfire Hero. Do I just want to play that? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just wondering if they have like a sweeper or something. Or if I should just play Heartfire Hero. I think I'm just going to play Heartfire Hero. Hold on. Yeah, they don't have any sweepers. They have a Linvala that they can get, which I guess is annoying. But since this isn't lethal, let's just play Heartfire Hero here. And Linvala will gain them to life anyways. But they need to have Enigmatic Incarnation, which I assume they do. Yeah, so they're going to get Linvala, which will be good. I don't know if... Hopefully it's not going to be enough. They gain 5 life and get a 3/3 though. That's quite good, obviously. How do you want to block? So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. You don't want to block like that. You have to block something else. You need to block the Emberheart Challenger. So this is interesting. I can deal 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. Oh, this is a really cool play, by the way. Oh, no, that doesn't... Oh, well... That is technically better. So I can Burst Lightning them, or... I can Burst Lightning my Screaming Nemesis, and it gets in for the same amount of damage, except by doing that, they can't gain any more life. So I think I'm going to do that. And I don't care about Linvala. Alright, they're at 2 life. Yeah. This way they can't get me with Zur. This way they can't, like, play Zur, turn Incarnation into a life linker, and gain life that way, because the Screaming Nemesis is in play, and I have Ramunap Ruins in play, and they're at 2 life. So this basically kind of locks out the game, right? Because they're at 2 life, I have a Ramunap Ruins, and they can't gain life. Alright, got game number 1. Okay, sideboarding should be very interesting. Paw Patch Formation is great. They have just a million enchantments. It also kills Azur. Revelry is also great. I think in this matchup, I might want the Grafdigger's Cage. Like, the Incarnation is a pretty big deal, I think. And being able to shut that down is pretty strong. Burst Lightning seems pretty weak. Monstrous Rage is pretty good. And then we have to look at the options here, basically. Don't mind questing Druid in this type of matchup. Hazoret is not as good because they have Vanishing Verse and Leyline Binding, so it's just kind of an expensive card in general. As far as creatures go, Zur is something that I should be concerned about. So I have Reckless Rage and Rending Volley. Do I want the Rending Volley? Or do I just want to rely on the 3 Paw Patch formations? The thing is, when they play the Zur in most instances, like... I mean, it's probably still fine. Like, it kills Overlord of the Flood Pits, too. I suppose. Although if that's the case, I probably just want to play the Reckless Rage instead, right? I wasn't sure there, but I feel like I want to be able to kill the Zur. And Reckless Rage is nice because if I have Screaming Nemesis in play, I can prevent them from gaining the life too. So it feels better than Rending Volley in a lot of instances. No 1-drop again. Or no, I had a 1-drop last time. What am I saying? Huh. Feels like a knockout blow. Feels like a knockout blow, but do I let that happen? I guess there's not like a great way to play around it. Yep. Like if I Monstrous Rage that, it's not quite enough. You know what? Maybe I still should have. Yeah. Let's play Heartfire Hero. Let's play Innkeeper's Talent. Yeah, it is still good to have Reckless Rage because if they go Zur, try to gain a bunch of life, I can still kill the Zur even though they've animated a creature. Even though they've animated a creature, they won't gain the life, which is big. Wow, they went after the Heartfire Hero and not the Innkeeper's Talent, okay? I mean, this is as good of an opener that you can have in this instance. Okay, yeah, we're just dead. They just get an Overlord here, turn 4, or a Traxa. At 22 life. You think we're going to win? Oh, well, you know what? I guess I can't... I do have the Paw Patch formations, right? So... I mean, we literally need to draw it this turn. But not only that, they're drawing enchantment. All right. That's why we got the Grafdigger's Cage. The one of fun of. All right, on the play. Aggro. What do I want? I mean, we have most of our aggressive stuff here. I'm not sure about the Reckless Rage, I will say. I'm just going to lean on my Paw Patch formations here. And the Revelry. And just play all my value cards. All right, there's the Questing Druid. I'm going to keep. I have a 1-drop and a 2-drop. Like I said, it's either Questing Druid or this is going to be like a Burst Lightning or a way to kill a flyer. So... we have turn 1 Soulscar Mage into Manifold Mouse, most likely. Give us a little bit of aggression here. And then the next turn, you know, it's kind of up in the air. If they tap themselves out, I can certainly just try to get a big hit in with Monstrous Rage plus Manifold Mouse. And then end of turn go Questing Druid. That's on the table. Our opponent was deep in the tank on that mulligan. Curious to see why. Could have just been a hand with all good cards. I think I could have played around... the more I think about it, I think I could have played around a knockout blow, but oh well. I don't want to use double Monstrous Rage to play around a knockout blow. That's the problem. Like, if I go Monstrous Rage, I'd rather just have Manifold Mouse here as the thing to do. It's actually kind of interesting, because I can pump the hero, which gives me more long-term damage, or I can try to get in for an extra damage with Manifold Mouse. I think this is better. Do you have another knockout blow? Okay. They sure do. Okay. I mean, you know, you put it in your sideboard for a reason, because, like, you know this matchup is bad. So they kept the hand with double knockout blow. Sure. Oh, that was a good find. Holy cow. Let's go Manifold Mouse. Manifold Mouse Grafdigger's Cage is absurd. Jeez. I don't know if you can find more removal here. I'm just gonna say. Let's play the cage. So knockout blow, fatal push. That was a good mulligan. We still have a decent board. They put Yorion into hand. Okay. Ooh, Innkeeper's Talent. Okay, so that's also interesting. I can play the Questing Druid, but I think I just prefer going Swift Spear into Innkeeper's Talent here. And look, if you have another 1-mana card, if you have another 1-mana removal effect, so be it. Wow! That is really impressive. Dang. Okay. Monstrous Rage gives +4/+2 the turn I cast it, which does allow me to attack through the Yorion. Next turn, I will probably run out the Questing Druid before I choose to attack. They probably have... They're at 20 life still. It's just... They've been given so much time. Avatar? Oh, gosh. Nothing. Wait, what? Wow. What do you have? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Incarnation doesn't do anything, fortunately. I hope they have 2 in their hand. I hope they have 2 Incarnations in their hand. They haven't drawn any of the Overlords. Next turn, if we draw a land, probably just play Manifold Mouse, but we'll see. Let's see. If I play... Oh, Overlord... Okay, sure. Overlord is obviously very good. They have 2 cards in hand. Paw Patch Formation is what we have. So here's the thing. If I go Manifold Mouse and put a counter on the Questing Druid, I don't need to kill the Overlord right away. Like, obviously, if their last card is Zur, it's pretty bad for me, I guess. But I feel like I should be playing the Manifold Mouse here and just try to get in for some damage instead of doing nothing. Oh, no, 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 no. They can play the Yorion and blink it. No, I need to Paw Patch Formation, don't I? Yeah, but it's not very good because if they double block... Yeah, I was hoping that didn't happen. Ah, I feel bad about that. I feel bad about that. I was hoping, because, like, I could have a removal spell, and this is not a good double block. Did they double or single block? They double blocked. So if I Monstrous Rage, I can double Monstrous Rage, but I don't want to do that either. Yeah, alright, whatever. Yeah, this is just a really brutal spot. Are you kidding me right now? Yeah. I mean, this was going to be tough to beat anyways, just with their start, right? So, it is what it is. Like, I guess I could have just not done anything. But I still don't know if that would have put me in a great spot. But now, I mean, it's pretty clear that you just play the Yorion, right? Oh, I see. No, you do that. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, look, this combination is going to be really hard for us to beat, just with our start. So, you know, it's like no harm in losing to something like this. All right, well, there you have it, folks. We had a decent start. We were 4-1, but then we lost to a couple of Yorion decks, which, you know what's interesting is you would think in a lot of instances, these mid-range decks that are generally looking to go over the top of other mid-range decks would kind of struggle against aggro, but they both beat me. And I feel like I got a little bit fortunate to beat the other Yorion deck. So the Yorion deck's perhaps quite strong here. I mean, obviously double knockout blow is a thing. It's pretty tough to beat. And maybe I could have sequenced things slightly differently, but I don't know. It was just kind of a tough spot overall. Me trying to use 1-for-1 removal against overlords is not necessarily the best strategy either. And maybe this is possibly an instance where it's better to go into Rakdos and just try to combo them out with a bunch of pump spells instead, where if they try to use knockout blow, well, Infuriate is a very, very good answer to knockout blow if you have a prowess creature. So that's another thing to consider. But you know what? 4 wins, got a lot of valuable experience playing this deck against a lot of the other decks around. We got 5,000 gems, which is obviously very good as well. So pretty happy with that. And that was Gruul Aggro. What did I think about the deck? I mean, the deck felt fine. It's just the fact that I was able to win 4 matches with a deck that's basically a standard deck, right? I mean, this is almost exactly the standard deck. I will say, if you go the questing druid plan, I don't know that the Hazoret plan also works well with that. I don't know if that was a large part in why I lost. I think it was just overall just the strategy that they had and the removal that they had lined up well with what I had. You know, this could be an instance where, you know, those Yorion decks, perhaps that's where you want the Urabrask's Forge. But the games never really went long enough where I feel like the Forge would have been the reason why I win those games. They just basically what happened, it wasn't because they were 1-for-1ing me and then they ground me out. It was they killed some of my early creatures and then they played their 5-mana card, right? Whether it's Bring to Light, whether it's an Overlord or whatever. And then I just lost because that was just far too much. And Innkeeper's Talent is nice at trying to grind people out, but I'm not entirely sure that this is a fast enough card for this format. Maybe you just need to be faster in general in this format. Me trying to play this longer game, it works in standard, but this just, it could be, this is just me speculating after playing all these games, it could be that in this format, this is just not where you need to be able to beat those decks because their late game is so much better. Their late game win conditions are so much stronger. You can't just necessarily try to value them out with cards like this. And if anything, you just want to be really aggressive. And if they have something, you just kill it and just try to get them dead as quickly as possible. I've seen Gruul lists that play 3 copies of Destructive Revelry. And that might be the approach, right? You're just like creature, creature, creature. You know, there's a Rakdos version that plays the Kumano card, right? Which I'm never going to remember. Kumano faces Kakazan. This is really, really good if you want to be super aggro. And the problem is you don't really want to play this in a deck with Innkeeper's Talent because it's not a creature turn 1. But maybe the strategy of just playing Kumano faces Kakazan with Swift Spears, all haste creatures, perhaps that is the proper way to just make sure that you're fast enough to be able to just completely run over all the other mid-range and Yorion decks in the format, because I just feel like this strategy, you're just kind of playing to their game plan. That might not work. But this is also just me kind of taking a first dive with this. Batutinia, who has multiple top 8s playing this deck, certainly plays the deck way better than I do, probably disagrees. And he doesn't even play the Questing Druid, so I made it even slower. And that's me. Anytime there's a deck, I try to slow it down and make it more mid-range. That's probably not the right approach playing a mono red or Gruul Aggro type strategy. But you know what? It was a lot of fun still. Pioneer, Explorer, basically the same thing. I just looked at all the Pioneer decks and I just ported it over and it all still worked. So I feel like it's nice to have this format basically on Arena now. And glad that I got to experience this and glad that now I can use that information to figure out what I'm going to do for Arena Championship 8. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, as I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed this content and wanted to support the channel in another way, my Patreon is the best way to do so. That is patreon.com/paulcheon. Shout out to all the patrons. Thank you so much for all your support. Additionally, check out TCGplayer.com for all your singles and sealed product needs. Pre-orders are available for sealed boxes of Aetherdrift. So if you want a link straight to purchasing some boxes of Aetherdrift, I have that link in the description below as well. Additionally, check out heavyplay.com for all your Magic the Gathering supplies and accessories needs. If you need deck boxes, playmats, sleeves, dice boxes, and more, go to heavyplay.com/paulcheon to get 10% off your first order. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.